Hey guys, and welcome to game number 94 out of 100 of my Human vs. AI series, where I'm taking on the AI-powered Scrabble-bot BestBot in a 100-game match. We're currently at 39 wins, so the bot has clinched the series, but I'm hoping we can get to maybe even 45 wins. I'll need to win 6 out of the last 7 to do that, but it's certainly possible. I'm off to a good start here, though. I've got 2 7s available in Toils and Onlyest, so I'll obviously be playing one of those. Really, the only question is which one to play and where. I actually think I like Onlyest over here, just because it doesn't put any vowels next to these blue double underscores, and it also makes sevens kind of tricky to play, because you have to overlap multiple tiles or start with a vowel next to the T, which is tough to do. It's worth mentioning Onlyest does not take any front hooks. Sunly, S-O-N-L-Y, is good, but it doesn't compare. Sunlier and Sunliest are not good. So this is totally safe as far as that goes. So let's go ahead and play that, and this looks pretty good. Brawling or warbling through the L, bewaring through the E. So several possibilities here, depending on what the bot plays, but we'll just have to see. And the bot plays Digamist for 72, so bingo's right back, and unfortunately it seems to have blocked both of my bingos. Brawning? I don't think that's a word, is it? Brawned? It doesn't look right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not a word. I'm not going to play it. Hope I'm not wrong about that. That would be a pretty bad miss, but I'm pretty confident it's not good. Yeah, no other E's for bewaring. I don't think there's anything... How about through the waters in Digamist? I don't think so. Huh. That's a real shame. It's not bingo at all here, but what are you going to do? Okay, so I guess maybe Bawn. It's a lot of points. It's 37 points. It's not the best leave, but at least with that N and Onlyest, I could maybe get something ending in ING over there, and it's fairly unlikely to get blocked. It's just not worth it, I don't think, to do this. I mean, I'm giving up 21 points. Like, as good a leave as this is, it's just not worth a 21-point sacrifice. That's such a big amount of points to give up. And I don't think I have anything here. I'd love to play this, but OB, of course, not valid in NWL, so I can't do that. Likewise, can't play it up here because WA is not valid, so can't really do a whole lot down here. I could play Win, but this leave doesn't seem really any better than the leave after Bawn, and Bawn is more points. So probably just Bawn here is fine. Not thrilled about it since I was really counting on bingoing, but what are you going to do? So let's do it. Okay, this looks reasonable. And bot plays quaffs almost immediately. Interesting. So I've still got that N and Onlyest, but I don't have any 8s as far as I can tell. Amorting is not good. I don't think I have any bingos, so probably just Grim. I mean, it's 48 points, so unless I have a bingo, that just has to be correct. It's too many points not to play. There's nothing through the A or the U in quaffs, I don't think. Yeah, Garami doesn't work. Have a T left over. So I think this has to be correct. Let's do that. Okay, I have Podesta, P-O-D-E-S-T-A. Is that going to play? Don't think so at the moment. Junko comes down. That's not going to help me as far as bingoing goes. Yeah, I don't see a spot for Podesta. Oh, I have Readopts, though, from the R and Grim. A little sneaky over there, but I do have that. Through the G? Postage? That's not a word, I don't think. How about, like, through the NU or something? Anything starting with WO, like wood? Yeah, I guess Readopts isn't that scary, actually. I mean, S in the second spot of a triple line is not all that easy. You need a word starting with, like, ISO, probably. And with the PTS next to each other, it's very hard to overlap, because you need 3 vowels next to each other, which not a lot of words have. So it's actually not all that dangerous. So let's do that, and yikes, that's a lot of vowels. That is a lot of vowels. 6 of them, to be precise. So, yeah, what am I going to do with all this? I guess I can play a C. I mean, that's still worth it over trading. 15 points. This leave is obviously still too val heavy, but at least it's 15 points and it blocks a little bit. So that's one option if it stays open. Other than that, I don't even know. I mean, I don't see a good spot to play EAU anywhere. How about through this P? Powa? Is that worth it over trading? Maybe? It's hard to say. I mean, AEET is not terrible, but it's still kind of val heavy, especially with 8 more E's left. I might just be more inclined to trade down to ET at that point. But it's going to depend a lot, too, on what the bot does, how much it scores, what it leaves open. Okay, so it plays dope. I can obviously still play a C, although I have O here, and that's a lot more points. That's 21. Keeps AAET as opposed to AEET. AAET is not much worse, especially because of the disparity of vowels on C with 7 E's and 3 A's. I don't mind this at all. Now, there is an X left, so I guess that's a little bit of a risk. It's pretty hard to start a word with an X, though. I think that's okay. I mean, the annoying thing is it could be something the bot like fishes for in the long run, and it could prove very annoying to block. That's my one reservation. But it's pretty tough to start with an X. I mean, Xenia, I guess, is there. I just have to decide whether I want to create that long-term liability or just play a C. Or actually, wait, a C keeps AEUT, not AEET. That's a little bit better of a lead with no U's left. Have to imagine. It's close. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could always, if I need to, block the X spot by just playing a 3 through the S later. If it comes down to that, right? Like, I can just play pretty much anything like EST, EST, or OS if I need to later on and block that. And maybe I'll even get the X, right? Like, I probably shouldn't be too concerned about it. So, alright, let's just make the better equity play, I think, and play over here. Man, that's not helping me. Play off 3 vowels, and I get 3 vowels, and he bingos with levying now, basically tying the game. So, what am I going to do here? Now I almost have to trade, I think. I mean, I kind of hate trading because it's a constant heavy pool, and I sort of like hoarding the vowels to deprive the bot of them. But, I mean, what am I going to do here? My options are terrible. I don't really see myself playing AA for 14. I have anything with JO? Not a whole lot. I don't want to play Tau, keeping AAEI. I don't think that's possibly worth it. Maybe Tau over here? It's a few more. It's 19. It's close. I mean, it's a constant heavy pool, so it's pretty unlikely I would draw 2 vowels. 19 points. Or I trade... Probably keep ATE in this pool, given how consonant heavy it is. Trade AAIO or play Tau, keeping AAEI. Tough call. It's like, often in these kind of situations, when there's an imbalanced pool and you have a lot of the, whether it's consonant or vowels, the type of tile that's scarce, it's often good to hoard them if you can. Just because if the bot doesn't have vowels, it could make it tough for it to play. On the other hand, it does come at a bit of an expense, for sure, in terms of my own leave. I think I am going to play Tau. Like, 19 just feels like enough to justify playing through this for now. Like, I feel like with this pool, this has enough of a chance to get salvaged that I'm going to go for it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there you go. Like, that's actually fine now. I mean, I have a bingo. I have Fasciate from this F. And see, that's the thing. Now, the bot clearly had, like, no vowels. It plays off KRR immediately. And again, that's what's good about not trading, is because then the bot doesn't have access to those vowels. So I am going to play this. I don't believe there are any other bingos. And okay. I have bingoed. That's funny. It's not a word. It should be a word, but it's not. But that's pretty funny that I actually drew bingoed. Do I have any playable bingos, though? I don't believe so at the moment. No N for deboning. I don't think there's anything through the I. So probably I'll just play next to fasciate on my next turn, assuming it stays open, which it very well might not. It's a pretty high-scoring hotspot. I could have a number of things. I could play Bong or Bing. Probably Bing because there's 4 I's left and just 1 O. Normally I'd keep IED over OED, but here with the vowel disparity I probably would play Bing because I really don't want to have multiple I's if I can help it. But we'll see what the bot comes up with. I could also play Bide over there. Alright, and the bot plays there. No big surprise. Toll for 22. So I'm up a bit. I'm up 42, but far from out of the woods. There's still a blank left, a lot of scoring tiles. That X is still unseen, but now at least there's no potential for a huge X play. Like, the worst thing that could happen is probably 6, which is like 35 or so. So what do I have here? I can't score a whole lot of points, I don't think. Maybe, I wonder if I have anything next to... Actually, I can play here. I can play Boing. That's not bad, actually. 29 keeping ED. I think I like that. Keeps a balanced leave drawing into this pool, turns over some tiles, scores pretty well. Yeah, it seems pretty good to me. I mean, I don't see how I'm going to score more than that. This keeps about as good a leave as I can. Like, I don't want to keep... So, like, I don't think I want to do this, because there just aren't enough places to bingo on this board, I don't think. Like, 7s are really hard to play. I'd probably have to start with a vowel next to ner. 8s, it's hard to start with an E. C isn't the easiest tile to play through. Like, it's just not a great board for bingoing, so I would rather score more, play off more tiles. So let's play Boing over here. And there we go, I drew the blank, so that is very good. I have Adenils with a blank S in play with a blank P, both of which will play next to ner, and probably seal the deal, barring something extremely unlikely. I might still need to be, depending on how many tiles the bot plays, I'll need to be a little cautious, because with X, Z, V, W, Y, H, H unseen, if there are 7 or fewer tiles in the bag and I bingo, and then I pull like 20 plus points worth of tiles on my rack and the bot bingoes out and catches me with stuff, I could be in trouble. But okay, now I should be fine because there's 9 in the bag, so bingo does not empty the bag. So I think I can just play Adenils. I don't see a good reason to play end play. Adenils is more points because it doubles the D. So let's just do that, and it's going to be tough to imagine losing regardless of what I draw. I have to imagine. But we will see. I've been surprised before. Alright, that's a pretty good draw. Yeah, the bot's just going to throw in the towel. Okay. Man, I almost have Yahtzeit to the T if my W were an I. That would be a crazy way to finish off this game. But alright, I have a little time, so let's see if I can play a good endgame here. Just to cut into this massive 2,500 point spread that the bot has a little bit. So the bot has IRR. Is it going out? It is. Yeah, it has Yer from the Y and Adenils. Does it have another out, though? I don't think it has another out. Yeah, that's pretty clunky. So I probably, unless I can just score a massive amount, I probably want to try to block Yer. I wonder if I have like a setup. Maybe I can set up Wares or Hazy or something. That would be pretty cool. But I'm not sure how I can really do that. I mean, I could also just play like Zany maybe and then go out with Ware on my next turn. I guess the bot, it's hard for the bot to block. I could play like Sri or something. And it still seems reasonable. Maybe, yeah, it's not that easy for me to go out in 2, I guess, because I have Wares through the E and Adenils as well. Then where am I playing H-E-Y? And I need to block Yer also. It's also Hazy, but I don't think I'm going to go out with this. Maybe it's not that easy for me to go out in 2. Hard to say. And I'm still not seeing any good setups. Like, this almost works, but Hazy unfortunately won't work because I got rid of my A. Like, that's the kind of thing I was sort of looking for. But I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I wonder, maybe on, well, I can't do anything on the top right because then he just goes out. That's the problem. So, Maybe I just play zany then. It might be fine. Or do I play where first so that I can... Maybe I play where first because I have lazy on the top left as a backup. That might be slightly better. Where followed by lazy. It's probably not optimal. And it's not, I guess it's not that hard for him to block zany. Yeah, he can block where by playing 3, and then I don't think I can go out with WHER. That's the one thing. So I think I should probably play where first. Hope I didn't miss an outplay for him, or else I'll have bled a lot of spread, but I think this is more or less okay. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. So let's see what he does. Yeah, he just plays Rin, as I figured he likely would. And I just went out with lazy, so a final score of 476 to 384. Sorry guys, the recorder glitched as I was making my outplay, but at least we didn't miss anything very exciting. All you missed was a lazy play there to end the game, so I'm not sure if that was a lazy endgame. I still netted like almost 40 points, so I don't think it was terrible. But in any case, good win for us, 476, 384. Let's take a look at the analysis here. So going back to the beginning, yeah, opening play, like I said, lots of options between Onlyist and Toils. I think this one is fine for defense. And the bot has a couple of cool options here. You had Digimus, Gumwoods, and Gumshoot. So a bunch of hard to find 8s there. Of course, the bot finds, I'm sure, all of them without any difficulty and settles on Digimus, which seems reasonable. It scores the most points. And yeah, surprisingly no bingos here. Brawning, not good, as I correctly figured during the game. So glad about that. Yeah, I think Bawn is fine here. It plays under, but no good reason to not play it up here, I don't think, for the 2 extra points. And then, yeah, wow, clunky rack for the bot. Quaffs looks pretty obvious. Grim looks pretty obvious too. So yeah, a bunch of pretty clear plays. This play doesn't look obvious though. So Junko instead of Juba. That's interesting. Yeah, because Clone feels like a pretty good leave. And it's 6 more points. Wow. Yeah, that's actually a bit surprising to me. But I guess the bot just figured on this board there wasn't that high a likelihood of it bingoing with this. So it figured it wanted to just play off some more tiles to go for turnover, I would presume. Interesting. Yeah, that's a bit counterintuitive, but I assume it just wanted more turnover, because, again, this board, there are very few places for 7s. Really, you'd have to play next to the T and Onlyist, starting with a vowel, and a leave of Clone is not very conducive to that. And you're probably not that likely to hit the G, or say the F in Quaffs, or maybe the S in Digimus. So, I guess just going for more turnover. Interesting play by the bot. Readopts only bingo. And then, yeah, the bot doesn't have any playable bingos here. So it's interesting. Now it kind of switches gears. Instead of going for maximum turnover with Spondy, kind of like it did before, it does decide to keep more tiles on its right, keeping that ELN leave again, which I don't consider that great a leave. LN to me is a little clunky together, so it's interesting that the bot elected to keep it twice. I myself would have probably actually gone for Spondy here, just to also create another good line for 7s on the bottom, as well as keeping open the letters and readopts for floaters. So this is one where I probably would have gone with the decision the bot didn't make once again, which is kind of interesting, but obviously ELN is still not a bad leave by any means. So interesting that the bot went with this. And then, yeah, this was an interesting turn. Like I said, always clearly better on equity, right? I mean, AAET is not 6 points worse than AETU. It's probably very slightly worse, but not much. The one drawback, like I said during the game, is that it creates this X spot. And while the bot is very unlikely to have a big X play immediately starting with the X, it's just a long-term liability because it's very hard to block effectively without sacrificing a ton of points, and it could be something that if I do continue to hold on to my lead, the bot might be able to fish for repeatedly and eventually draw later in the game. So that was the one drawback which I was aware of, but I decided to go for it anyway. And the bot plays Levying. Yeah, here I didn't know what to do. I mean, maybe I should do this to keep the T, but I felt like once I'm already keeping a kind of clunky leave, I'd rather just at least turn over more tiles, give myself more chances at the S, the blank, the Z, the X as well, especially, the other good stuff in the bag. I think this is probably still okay over trading, but trading is also not unreasonable. Like I said, I really wanted to try to deprive the bot of vowels given the disparity, which I seem to have done pretty well here. The bot played Neural very quickly instead of Neural. I wonder, it's probably going for an X play. Yeah, oh, you know what it's doing? Yep, it's going for sextile, right? If it draws an I and an E, which is not all that unlikely, it hits sextile for like 100 or something. Well, probably not 100, but it's like 85 if my math is right from the S with O. Yep, that's a very smart play, because with that many I's and E's, it's pretty likely to get it. And then, yeah, luckily for me, I was just in time sort of blocking that spot. And amazingly, despite that new hotspot I just created, the bot really doesn't have a whole lot here. So the bot makes a play that's pretty far down on the equity list. It played Toll for 22, keeping Vex, which is interesting, because it's probably got a bingo at this point, given it's down 64. It didn't want to play, probably Sexto here would be better than Sex to turn over more tiles for the blank. I mean, this gets the bot within 25. ELV is not the worst leave, as long as it can pull a few vowels. I guess what probably it figured is that with HHBWYY unseen, I'm just too likely to have a good play next to Fasciate that's going to score like 40 plus points and just block up the whole board there. I guess that's the problem. Is if I just score 40 there, I'm up almost 70 even after Sexto, and the bot is going to have a very hard time bingoing, especially with a V and not having a lot of other vowels to work with on the board. So that's probably what it figured, that I guess that spot, just given the pool, is too dangerous. But it's still kind of counterintuitive to block up the board while keeping VX while trying to bingo and come back. It's a tough play to make. Very interesting turn for the bot. I still probably would have gone with something down here just to get rid of the X. But I see the bot's point here. It's just that, you know, with this pool, again, there's BHHWYY. That's 6 3 or 4 point tiles right there that go at H12. And the pool is pretty well balanced with vowels and consonants. Otherwise, I'm very likely to have a big play there. And as it turns out, I would have had a pretty decent play. I would have played Bing for about 40. And yeah, Boing looks like a good play here. Not any options that score more, keeps a good leave. And yeah, and this is the problem with Toll, right? I mean, well, the bot actually drew 3 eyes, so that's a bigger problem. It drew terribly, but you're keeping VX. You have no good way back into this game. I mean, maybe if you draw like Excavate or Exuviate, but that's super hard to do. Yeah, Helix seems forced here. I mean, you could maybe draw Eviting or something. The bot's going to need a very, very good draw at this point to come back into the game, which fortunately for me it did not get, as I drew the blank. And yeah, Admirals should seal the deal here. Yeah, at this point, there's no reason for the bot to fish for anything, I don't think. I mean, if it fishes 2, it's down too much, and by emptying the bag, I'll be able to just block whatever it gets. So it decides to throw in the towel. Oh, I didn't see this, but it still allows Ur, so probably better off doing something more like what I did to block its outplay. Maybe Hazy ends up being better. Maybe I don't even need to go out in 2. Maybe I just score more because the bot isn't going to really be scoring very much with its IRR. I'm not exactly sure. Honestly, it's possible. My play does go out in 2, which is good, but maybe I shouldn't have even gone out in 2. I don't know, but in any case, it wasn't a terrible endgame, I can't imagine, and we got the job done. Overall, I'm very happy with how I played this game. No glaring mistakes. Some questionable plays, like O early on was probably the most questionable. O and Tau are both a bit questionable, I'd say. Otherwise, I feel pretty good about how I played, so can't complain there too much. Very happy to get this win and officially bring us to the 40 win mark. So now at least I don't have to worry about winning less than 40 games in this series, which would have been pretty embarrassing. And we got 6 games left, guys, so if I can win 5 out of the last 6, then I do get to 45 wins, which would be pretty respectable. So I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. It's going to be tough, but I'm on a 2-game win streak, so hopefully I can keep it up, and I really appreciate you guys sticking with me so far. We've had a bunch of rough stretches, I feel like, especially late in this series, so I know it's probably been a little bit frustrating, but thank you guys very much for sticking with it and continuing to support me. I really do appreciate it, and hope you'll stick with me for this final stretch here as we round out the rest of the series and jump into game number 95. So thanks again, guys, for watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon for the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.